So I'm Kim. Nice to meet you, Zerk. Um, thank you for coming on and talking to me. A Widow Story podcast. That's the name of it. I hope you've had a chance to look at the show and seen at least one episode, if not clips and everything. So just a little bit about myself is that, of course, I lost my husband. August of 2021 just came up on his 4-year anniversary of his death. It was a traumatic experience. He was involved in a electric scooter accident. So um I decided, just going through this journey of, everything that I was going through, kind of just wanted to, like, not really so much just talk about, of course, just like what happened, but more so like kind of, you know, our I guess dealing with everything, our journey that we're going through. I think it's different for everyone. I felt like, mine was definitely different. And so just talking to other widows, right? Because I meet a lot of women. I meet a lot of women, and what I don't meet is a lot of men that have actually, lost their wives. And so I definitely wanted to get your take on everything. I want to start off, from the beginning. I love to hear like the love story and just how you guys met, and then, briefly what happened, and then we'll go from there. Faith in every thread, style in every step. Shop a Stylish Heart faith-based sweatshirts today. www.astylishheart.com.
I was stationed in Camp Casey, South Korea, one of the most beautiful places of all time. And while I was over there, that was back in 2009. 2010, I ran across a woman who would later become my wife. And we met in a place called Itaewon. If you heard the song that came out long ago that you probably didn't know what was going on that everybody was dancing to, the song was called Gangnam Style. That is the city next to Gangnam. Essentially, if you live in Dallas, Gangnam is the equivalent of a more up in Rockwall. There you go. So, that's the kind of person that she was, and how she was raised and stuff. We got married December 17th of 2012 at the age of 22. And in November, well, I guess I'll get to the love story portion. We were big partiers. I was in the Army. I was young. And the one thing that I really did like about her, which I still continue to this day, and I refuse to budge on with anybody, is she was at a young age, just like me. We both said we don't want nothing to do with no kind of producing of no kind of kids. And I stay true to that to this day. I don't know how to change a diaper. I don't want to learn. And it was good because that really set things in pace for us to see the world. So, let's see, 34 countries together that we sing at that young of an age. Most of that was funded on my end by Uncle Sam, but other than that, we just took our time and stuff like that. And we went through our trials and tribulations that every married couple goes through.
Right.
And to be honest with you, me being who I am now, looking back, she never did sign up to get into a relationship with a man who who knew that he had the large potential to become an alcoholic. And I never did disclose that with her. I did tell her my mother was an alcoholic, but me being so young and seeing the Army and how things went there, I thought it was just a normal day-to-day operation.
Mm-hmm.
And she stuck out, after we would like, be at home, and she would be like, oh, I'd watch a movie or whatever case may be. I would not be emotionally attentive enough to even want to do that. I'd be like, no, I just wanted to drink or whatever case may be. So anyways, going forward to the day after Veterans Day, November 12th, 2016, I was 26 years old, and I got a phone call from the Fort Wayne Police Department, and they were calling me. I was a truck driver at the time. They said, where have you been at? We've been trying to contact you to make sure you're safe, this, that, third. And I said, shit, I've been sleeping in the back of this truck. I don't know what y'all want with me. I'm in Tennessee. I'm an over-road truck driver. And they said, well, we need to know where you are because we found your wife's body at the the lobby of a hospital, and she has got her head blown through. So we need to know where you're at. That's essentially how they put it to me. And it didn't hit me at the time what they were saying. And then I realized, I looked at my phone with these call logs, and I had about 70 something missed phone calls. So I was like, oh, okay, this is legit. And so I went up there to Fort Wayne and to get this whole thing, solved, not solved, but to figure out what's going on and everything. Me being a truck driver. And the first thing they did was they was like, we need to sit down and talk to you first because you wasn't even here. I was like, shit. I said, oh, they'll think I did something. And
Mhm.
they did, and luckily we got that rectified and everything. And what I had found was 2 years prior to that, we had came to the conclusion, actually it was a year and a half, that we were not going to be, long-term sustaining. So we were going to actually initiate the path to go through a divorce. It was very amicable and everything, but we never did get the divorce. We were going through those slow motions, see if maybe counseling would work and stuff like that. But again, I was a person who was an alcoholic. So my thinking was, I'll act like I'm going to this counseling, but as long as I have my alcohol, I'll be okay. That's the
Mhm.
mindset of an alcoholic. And it was after we got to the Fort Wayne Police Department. I'll never forget when Detective Brian Martin, he's a
Mhm.
real good man. He was like, he sat me in his car and he was like, "You're good to go." And I was like, "Good to go to jail or good to go to the store, get 12 pack, and I can get up out of here, never see y'all again." He said, "No, you're good to go." He said that we have no reason to believe that it was you. And then they found out the actual person who did do it, and that person had he had known who my late wife was.
Mhm.
And what I will say is, I try to compare this the best way I can. And you said you're from Dallas, is that right?
Well, that's where I live. I'm originally from Mississippi, though.
Mississippi.
Mhm.
Okay. I can put in Dallas terms. I'm pretty sure you'll get this. If
Okay.
you are a person who has known Rockwall your entire life and you have been uh, inside of Rockwall your entire life, and you go outside of Rockwall, you think everywhere in the world is like that, you will be sorely mistaken. So
Mhm.
when you go outside of Rockwall and all of a sudden you meet somebody else who is from a whole different part of town, which is not as thriving as Rockwall, there will be times where you mention things that people will get very jealous. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. You just have to be aware of your surroundings. So
Mhm.
in Korea, they don't have this issue of violence and stuff like that, between friends or whoever the case may be, because
Mhm.
they have a very, very strict law against violence and stuff. And I try to explain to her, I said, not everybody is your friend,
Mhm.
and with Korean, that's the Korean culture that's clashing with American culture, that she's trying to see the good in everybody. And that's not the case. And so, we had the trial of everything. He did go to jail and stuff. And that's when my alcoholism completely just took off. I gained about 100, let's see, I was about 260 back then. I gained about 130 pounds in the span of about a year and a half and maintained that.
Mhm.
I it was terrible. Grief was terrible. And me being a young, I did join the widow. To preface this, I did not join a widow support group for 2 years because I was like, I'm not a woman, so I don't need to be in a widow support group, and I'm not 90 something years old. I'm not going to be able to relate to them. So I did join a widow support group, and we had our Miami widows getaway that I put together. Just
Mhm.
because there were some young people in there saying they wanted to get together and not sit there and cry and stuff. And I said, okay, this is going to be a good idea. That was a lie. Because let me tell you why. When you have a whole bunch of grieving people who all just potentially got a sum of money from the estate or whatever case may be, and they're still in their feelings, you mix that with whiskey week that is in Miami and 100-degree weather, it is not going to be anything fun. And I realized that, And so yeah, and then after that, I did a lot more volunteering and stuff, which is a lot better now. We do annual meetups with the younger widows, and we just had our last one over my birthday.
Mhm.
Um, and I got my legacy patch for reaching the 10-year mark of being a widow. And actually, they got it for me not because I was 10 years a widow. Nobody wants to be a widow forever. That's just not
Right.
something. That's not a permanent job that you want. They
Right.
got it because they made a bet against me at year 4, saying that I would have children. That was a lie.
Mhm.
So they didn't believe me. So they gave me a legacy patch. It's like a little, I even have it in here now. It just says widowhood legacy with our logo on it, and it's pretty good. We do a lot of good things for people. And one thing I tell people is, you have got to stop living for other people's standards. If someone comes into your life and is telling you after you lost your husband or your wife, whatever case may be, they're telling you, oh, it's too soon for you to move on. Oh, we're not comfortable with this person because you found someone new. Oh, what would your husband think or what would your wife think, whatever case may be. Instead of you trying to argue with them, just present them with one question. Why is it okay that they can love somebody, but you can't?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So I want to go back a little bit on, you were saying that of course that, grief was hard for you for that first year. That's when you like gained that weight. Um and it took you 2 years to actually, join any kind of widow group, which I totally get that, because I think that that's like a hard thing for anybody. I think the thing that we think about is, of course, they're like, widows are old and they're this, and they don't think that, that there's going to be like younger people in that group. So what were there any steps that you did within those 2 years that, that helped you kind of move forward, or that you or did you just feel like within those 2 years you were stuck? Like, were you depressed, or were you just trying to get out? Like, how were you within those 2 years, since you were self helping yourself? I guess I can say.
Right. So within those 2 years, that was when my alcoholism really, really
Mm-hmm.
took off, and it just numbed me to a point to where I wasn't depressed. I would say I just didn't exist. I was here physically, but I didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that was the only upside from alcoholism. It was that it did shield me from a lot of nonsense. Because remember when I didn't say this earlier, I should have added this in. When she died that night, they had already ran me on the news as a person of interest. By the time I woke up, people already made up their minds about what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
when you have all that going on and stuff like that, it's really gonna put you into a place of what do I do next? Do I
Mm-hmm.
want to, try to off myself? I've had all those thoughts, but the alcoholism, it would take me 12 packs to start getting tired, another one to go to sleep. And I would wake up and be like, what happened? And then I would repeat, do it and do it again, And so, it wasn't until like that third year
Mm-hmm.
when I said, I want to have a change, but I wasn't proactive about it. And when I finally started dating again, I dated a woman who said that she was like, I don't like the way that you just drink. You're just not attentive. And
Mm-hmm.
now my thinking on that portion is, okay, this woman has never met my late wife before, and she's saying the same exact thing. I know they haven't talked because they're two entirely different people from two different sides of the world. So if two people are saying the same thing about me, then maybe it is me. So I told her, I said, okay, well, I'll just stop drinking. I went to the refrigerator and dumped everything out. Now, to surmise to say, I had every intention of going to that store later on that night when she fell asleep getting some beer.
Okay.
But I fell asleep. And
Mm-hmm.
when I woke up, I slept for like almost 19 hours. And when I woke up, the beer store was closed again. And I said, oh, Tennessee, right. I'll wait till the next day. And I took a Z-Quil, and I will never forget, for a week straight, I was like, I think I can do this. That 1 week turned to 2 months, turned to 3 years, turned to, what am I at now? 8 years and some odd, whatever case. But, and that right there, the sobriety
Mm-hmm.
was like the 25% portion of what helped me really push my grief out my way. And then I would say 50% of it was me going to counseling. So in that same year, I also started going to counseling. I've been there for like 8 years and everything. And then I had to really work on myself because um, you don't want to come into the dating world, whether you're widowed or not, or a single parent, as your worst self, or even as your 25% self. You try to give like, I say 75%, and everything else can be dealt with. And I did that for this 8, 9 years, so that's 7. Yeah, so they're both at the same time. Yeah, so 8 years, and that's what helped me push forward. And then the third portion of it was me just being myself. So when we had our San Diego widows getaway, we
Mm-hmm.
had a widow come there, and she decided to act like she ran things because she had what she thought was the most time because she was older and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to let her know that the entire reason her tab is being paid today was because of me being gracious, and you don't run shit over here, to put it frank. And she would understand, and she was like, you can't talk. She essentially was trying to play a hierarchy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been widowed for this long. I said nobody's widow story is the same.
True.
We are not here to argue about who is who and stuff like that. You are not the final villain of the Avengers movie. We're not going to watch. We're not going to do that.
Okay.
So, and that right there, it really, and people was like, we would appreciate you taking up for us because we were not in an emotional spot of standing up for ourselves. Because some of the people, their spouse had just passed away just 2 weeks prior, and they just saw our
Mm-hmm.
group up. And that's what the first thing they were walking into. We fixed that situation. And what we did was I told her, I said, you can go do whatever you want to do out here in San Diego, but you will never be with us trying to act like you're king and shit. That'll not happen. Now she's 58 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So and once I started seeing people, they were not looking up to me as like a leader, but they were just like noticing that I was changing as a person. That's what really helped me push forward. And now it feels really good that I can talk about all this stuff, like everything from start to finish,
Yeah.
and not shed a tear. Not because I'm holding it back or whatever case may be, because I'm just comfortable in my truth. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to hide. And half of these people in these groups, they make their marriage seem like it was all everything, like seventh heaven from the 1990s. And I know they're lying. And it's okay to say that your marriage was not perfect. I don't know why in the widowhood community you want to uplift something that never did exist in the first place. And a lot of people get discouraged from posting in groups and stuff because they see these perfect marriages and stuff like that. Whatever case may be, I'm not no fool. There's
Gotcha.
no way. There's no, and I'm not somebody talking about people. It's just like you're
Mm-hmm.
not living in your truth.
True. Yeah.
It's not gonna help anybody. But yeah, that's what helped me a lot.
Gotcha. Okay. I think also I was really interested with, in talking to you, to get a male's perspective, because I think like I've talked to people, I think that I've been open with the fact that I feel like one, the shame maybe that women like that we have, whether it's really spoken or unspoken, basically just how, like when you said at the beginning, you was like, don't let anyone make you feel a certain type of way. And I feel like it's like something that happens anyway, especially with women, especially like with myself with kids. um I'm just like judged up front, right? And so
Hmm.
because people just see me like as this single woman, but I don't want to say, oh, like I'm a widow, because to me, that's not really just, it's something that happened to me, but it's not who I am, right?
Hmm.
And so I wanted to, of course, one, I wanted to see like if you felt that any kind of shame came to, to you as a man, if you felt anything like that. I mean, I know you don't have kids, so but someone could look at you the same way how like I date or things like that, and people can be like, oh, you're moving too fast. It's only been 4 years and you've been dating for, like 2 years now. They can look at it like that, as far as like you are still a widow at, 10 years out, right? And,
Hmm.
you know, well, maybe you're moving too slow, or things like that. Because, of course, also, I don't really see a lot of men really saying that they're widows. They really kind of just like, I don't know if they get remarried and they don't want to talk about it. I don't really know, but it's hard to find men really speaking about losing their wives. I know I put a whole bunch in there. I'm sorry.
No,
So,
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I think that first the when you for me at least, when I recognized what parents go through in regards to widowhood, it made me realize that my fight on a personal level in regards to a dependent I'm taking care of, I have nothing to take care of, um, holds nothing against a parent because I have never looked a child or had to explain to a child when they get older what happened to mommy or daddy. And I've been around widows that have requested a male presence like me to be
mhm,
around and to witness that because they're very emotional. And I've witnessed it. Let's see, this 29 times over my 10 years. The average is 3 times a year when someone doesn't have that family support.
mhm,
And it's a tough thing. And kudos to all y'all doing that. And for a male perspective, um, for me, I had people. I had one of my late wife's friends tell me that I was moving on too quickly and everything, and this was on Facebook. This was on Facebook. I was trying to date again and everything. Um, and my response to her was not good. It was not good, but I would never take it back because you came over here playing with me. I didn't come looking for you. You came over here.
mhm,
So what I said to her essentially was, the last time your husband passed away, how long did it take you for you to start dating again? And then the likes on that comment started rolling. People started to understand because we don't have even. It's not just a black community thing. It is an entire worldwide thing. You cannot put somebody in front of me and say that that person learned how to deal with people who become widowed because that is not something that anybody learned.
mhm,
And I can't blame her for thinking that. That was my late wife's friend. but I'm not my late wife. I'm my own person. So when I told her that, she kind of sort of got offended and everything, saying that this is not what Jessica would want and everything, yada yada yada. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were sleeping in bed with her, but go ahead, you got it. And then I pulled I pulled up her living will. If anything would happen to her, and the first line says, "On day one, I want Zerk to start finding love again." Imagine
Mm,
that. Imagine that. So all that stuff this was a public Facebook status too, and she did apologize 2 years later. And I told her, I said, you didn't know anything about widowhood, and I'm just like, I didn't know anything about widowhood.
right.
But I appreciate the apology. Now, as for why men don't say that they're widowers and stuff, I feel that it comes with a sense, I could be wrong. I've always identified as a widower, but it could be something in regards to a pride thing, because we're in a day and age where now it's starting to become more custom that men are starting to talk about their feelings or whatever's going on in their life, and so it's so hard to put that. I remember the first time I put widower on my profile and stuff, because people always, they see me, they're like, "Oh, you must be some basketball player come fixate." Like, no, or you must be the greatest father of all time. You're so goofy. No, not at all. I play PlayStation, and when I put that on there, I started resonating with a lot more people. I'm still myself at heart,
Mhm.
but with everything that we did in regards to San Diego or Miami or the New York City widows meetup, when we was in London, whatever case may be, that widowhood is what created all that. And when you have men who are, dealing with, they just became either a single parent or they just lost everything in their lives and they're taking their own journey. I don't want to speak for them all, but I feel like it would be a pride issue saying that I'm a man who was married and I'm hurt. And then you have to potentially go into a dating scene where they're like, are you still grieving your wife? Or why are her pictures still? I've been through that too before. Why are
Mm,
her pictures still up? Yada, yada, yada. You don't own this house. You don't. You don't own this house. You can go. The picture ain't gonna go though. That's a custom made hand painted picture from France. It ain't happening. So and yeah, that's why I feel it is, because a lot of men don't have that support, even on our widows getaways. The last one that we had, the large one that we had, Chicago, 94 women, 5 men,
mm,
one, two that had no kids, one man, one woman. Everybody else had kids. So, the data is going to be fluctuating all across the board because it's so polarized. But
right.
I will say that me and a girl that I met, Megan, who is now remarried again, we had an absolute blast out there. And again, that is just because I think that we had a lot more time as not having kids to focus on our emotional well being because we had nobody else to take care of. There's
Hmm.
no off time from being a parent. That's 24/7, you
Right.
know? And you may slack a little bit, but there's no off time in any capacity. So, yeah, did I answer the question? My bad. I'm rambling.
No, no, you did. You did. You did. Do you think that you want to get married? Is that something that you want to do, or you want to remain single, or?
I don't, because my life has changed so much. And so back then I was just like a warehouse worker and a truck driver. Now I'm going for a director of artificial intelligence management position. I'm about to graduate with a master's. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not opposed to it, but my big thing is,
Join the movement. Create your free listing on www.connector.com. In light of the current climate in America, it's more important than ever for communities to come together. Are you a business owner looking to make a positive impact in your community? Now is the perfect time to take action. By creating a free listing on connector.com, you can help build a new digital beloved community where everyone thrives. Your business can be a vital resource for residents, offering essential services and fostering connections. By joining our platform, you not only gain visibility, but also contribute to a network that embodies inclusivity, support, and empowerment. Don't wait. Create your free listing on connector.com, download the app, and help us shape a beloved community for all.
I don't get hunkered down with someone who's going to be like, oh, you can't travel no more, or hunkered down with someone who's like, oh, well, I brought a dog into this relationship. We can't find a dog sitter, so we can't go. That ain't my dog. That's yours. I didn't bring nothing in here to the relationship except for a debit card and furniture. I mean, I don't understand. And that's scary. That's kind of sort of scary. Widowhood doesn't scare me. I know now I've accepted that when you're with someone,
Mm-hmm.
there's a 50% chance that you're gonna go, and there's 100% chance that one of y'all got to go first. So I've accepted that. That part doesn't scare me. I've accepted that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the fear of the unknown, and a lot of people, especially widows, what I've witnessed over the years is a lot of men are starting to become aware of the benefits that parents get when um, their spouse passed away in regards to Social Security and stuff like that. And a lot of men are hip to that, and they will prey on women, seeing that they're hurt, but
Mm-hmm.
they're also getting funded by Social Security, where the case may be. And it's a scary time because, I tell people this all the time: don't tell nobody your business. Don't tell
Mm-hmm.
nobody about your life insurance. Don't tell nobody about nothing. When I don't care if y'all lived in the highest hills of rock wall on that water, you live in a storage unit. When you meet every person, you live in a storage unit, and you figure out, because these people will cosplay and take everything from you. It happened to a widow, and she unfortunately took her life because of that. That was back in 2019.
Oh,
2019, she took her. Yep, she dated a man. She started a business for him with her husband's funds. He took the business and ran off with all the money and everything. She unalived herself. Let's see, 6 days later after that.
wow.
Yeah,
That's tragic.
it is.
It is tough. It is tough. I mean, I didn't, I don't have any money, so for
Oh,
them to get the bread.
yeah. I never do either. Ever.
But I guess of course, I guess I never thought about that people do prey on you because they think that you have some kind of financial gain from losing someone. So I can't see how that can be, a scammer's dream to find you and to just try to get some of that money from you. So I can
Mhm.
definitely see that. I can definitely see that. So with the widows group that you joined, did you join it or did you create it?
I joined the first one, and then me
Okay.
and Angel created the second one, and
Mhm.
then I was widowed before Angel. She was in the widows group. I was already 3 years out. She was in the widows group. This widows group said you have to use this psychic medium, and that's the only one you can use in this group to contact with your husband. She asked why. They kicked her out. She made extremely young and widowed. I came and helped her with the getaways and stuff like that. We combined together, and then it shot forward. She is the absolute anchor of that group. And if anybody sees this video, all questions directed towards Angel, because I be in sleep, I be in bed. Don't contact me, contact her. And she's absolutely she created Extremely Young and Widow. She did.
And it's extremely young widows?
Extremely Young and Widowed.
Oh, extremely young and widowed. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she was 20. Let's see, she was 25 when she was widowed. And she had came across me when I was 29. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
4 year difference. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Well, it sounds like a great group because you guys travel together, so that's pretty cool.
Well, we don't travel together. I'm
Oh,
not doing
okay.
that, but I will meet at a centralized location,
Okay.
and I will go because I'm not these. I If you can't tell by my personality, I'm not one of these people that's going to be sitting around the table boo-hooing and crying and praying about stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
got things to do. I want to be out in these streets safely and have a great time. And they want to do things a different way, and that's fine. That's why we
Mm-hmm.
all go to dinner together, and then you're free afterwards. Don't lock me up because y'all want to do some stuff that's boring as hell. I'm not going to do it, and I'll tell everybody at the table I'm not going to do it, and that's okay because everybody has their own different interests and stuff like that. And we did a lot of great things. Our first Tampa Widows getaway, that's where she had just moved to, and we were both living. I was living on the western part of West Virginia. So when she contacted me, she was in the middle panhandle of West Virginia, and we both said, "This right here ain't for us. We got to get up out of here." And she said, "I'm going to Florida," and I said, "I'm going to Tennessee." And she was like, "When you going to Tennessee?" I said, "Tomorrow. I'll be out of here tomorrow." And she thought I was joking. Next day, I was in Tennessee. But we went down and did the Tampa Widows getaway after she got settled and everything. And one thing that was beautiful about that, it was a time of change. Usually when you get to that year 3 to 6 mark, it's going to be a shift in your life. You're generally in a good direction. And so Angel had met a man. His name is Travis. They had gotten married. They're now, so that was the first Tampa's Widow getaway. And then we do it once every 3 years. I mean, we do want stuff in between that time too. So
Okay.
Angel had met Travis during
Mm-hmm.
that time. And now the most recent time I came to see her this time, out of nowhere, she showed up with this 5 month pregnant belly. She's married. They did a lot of good things. And I'm happy for them. I love that because if they are married, uh, they won't be hitting me up asking for advice. I can play my PlayStation more. I hate when my phone goes off. There's another man down there who's probably one of my best widow friends down there. His name's Justin Hinton. His wife had passed away, I believe, about a few months prior to that, to the first getaway, and he
Mm-hmm.
had met someone new, and he was like, "Yeah, I know this is a widow's event, but can I bring my girlfriend? It would be great if she'd come." And I told him, I said, "We don't own that restaurant." I said, "Bring whoever you want to bring." I said, "This is just if you want to show up and you're a widow, great. If you want to show up and you're not a widow just by yourself, probably wouldn't be best for you, but I won't hold you back. But come on." And they have been dating, and now next month I'm going to their wedding. And
Mm,
so it's good to see that growth with
yes.
all these people. And that's not the only ones. There's three of them got married. That was on the Chicago one, two from San Diego, one from Hawaii, two from London, five from New York City. It's always been a journey. I have pictures of them all and stuff, and it's a great. It's fulfilling. It feels good to see those people do that. And they're like, "Derek, when you go, don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm going place to place. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm okay. I'm hitting my goals. I'm not trying to rush into anything. 'Cause I really am. I found happiness, after I lost all my weight and everything. Now I'm down to 220, and I'm more muscular now. And it's weird because yeah, that's a whole other story for another day. But yeah, I'm happy.
Well, for I don't know if I said congratulations on first like being sober for 8 years. So congratulations on that,
Thank you.
and also congratulations on losing the weight as well. So um, I did see you on your weight loss journey. So I did see that on your Instagram page.
Thank
So yeah, congratulations on that. So I guess that I really appreciate you coming and tell your story. I guess before we leave, if you could, just if you had any advice that you would give to newly widowed people, that I know that, maybe you were numb, but now in your wisdom, that you've dealt with so many people on some steps or um, a way just kind of to get through the pain or the grief that they may have, just to make it a little bit easier for them, you know, are you able to share?
you. Absolutely. Um, for new widows, and obviously all of our paths are different, but there are some things that will always be universal constants in widowhood. You will run across people that are going to say you move on too soon, or whatever case may be. I implore you, if you want to be defensive or you want to be offensive, I should say offensive, ask them why is it okay for them to love somebody and it's not okay for you to love somebody. And if
Mm,
that's the case, if it's too soon for you, it makes them uncomfortable. Tell them it's too soon for you as well, and it makes you uncomfortable that they're with whoever they're with. And just agree, just like we'll just both stop at the same time. They're not going to do it. So that's why I say one of the big things is please live your life because you only get one. And if you do pursue love, whatever case may be, I've seen it multiple times. I tell you, a lot of the widows that you don't have to keep on chasing after something that's not giving you any purpose. What is for you is for you. You don't have to second question it or guess it or come to me. I don't think he's like. I think he's playing. Like you will never have to do that, and you have to do that. And you know why you don't have to do that? Because if you follow what is for you, that
mhm,
means there's less time you're on my phone and crying about this shit. So that way, everybody can be happy. You know what I'm saying? So it really is a good thing because once you actually realize that somebody is there for you, like
mhm,
legitimately there for you, you ain't gonna question it. You ain't gonna call me, ask me what it's. I'm seeing these signs and stuff like that. I don't have a girlfriend. Why would you call me in the first place? So I mean, but they see me and they're like, "Oh, he has 10 years. So I want to get the advice." But no, and I would say this too find your community. I would say for you, you are extremely close to a lady on Instagram. Her name is Sarah Jane Childs. Y'all two look like y'all about the same age. Y'all both have kids, and she also does a Tiny Widows podcast. And
mhm.
I think y'all would be great for each other. She's a great person. She's hilarious. She cusses me out a few times a quarter throughout the year because she said I don't know how to act on social media. And Instagram says the same thing. They ban me once every like 4 weeks, but it's okay. But she's a really good person, and I implore everybody. Just this is the last thing I would say. Um, take a step out and journey because you might find your favorite person on a widow's getaway. You might find your favorite person for whatever, but you will never find your favorite person if you just hold up in your house and being depressed. Just give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. We always have a great time, and whether that's traveling with us or traveling with you or whatever you decide to start or whatever case may be, um, it's always good to get your feet wet and get out there and try something different because you sitting down and basking in all this unfortunate circumstance is not going to get anywhere. You got to be proactive. So
Yeah.
that is my advice.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me on a Widow Story podcast. I appreciate you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All right.